your source for everything paranormal. Para X. The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para X, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Merry meet everyone, and welcome to Stirring the Cauldron's Master Class. I see the professor is walking up to the podium. So, take a seat, get comfortable. The class is ready to begin.
And merry meet everybody, and welcome to us and the Master Class. Tonight's teacher is Sam Miller, who is a practicing witch, an LA native who grew up in next to Forest Lawn Cemetery, where she encountered numerous discarnate entities since childhood, and spurring her to develop and understand better her psychic abilities. Entranced by another magic kingdom, she worked at Disneyland and the Walt Disney Studios for many years and was the founding member of the Disney Cast Members Paranormal League. Now she's at her crone, and she's in that stage of life, and she's been passing on her life experiences and acquired magical knowledge for many years, often holding classes as traditional as a year and a day, and as well as speaking at museums and libraries and various aspects of water and wind magic, and the simple pleasures of the traditions, and how to take your craft with you where you go. So that's the topic for tonight. We're calling it packing your potions, creating your travel bag, and oh my God, and for magic on the go. Yes. All right. And she has a really good sense of humor, and she likes me, so if I mess up, that's good.
I do like.
I know. So questions and comments are welcome during the class, and if you're listening in the live show, that is, and if you're in the ParaX chat room, that's where you should be. And if you want to be with us, it's paraxradionetwork.com. All right, I'm going to take my tongue and kind of fix it out a little bit, Sam. So the pendulum is all yours.
Well, thank you. Hello, class. And I can tell you now, you can put your pencils down because there will be no test after our discussions tonight. But I do encourage you, if you have any questions at all about something that comes up, please let Marla know in the chat comments, and we can discuss them. If not, I hope that you just enjoy the information. It's not really my job to tell you how to embrace your craft or how to use it or what to do, but I am happy to help give you information to help you find your own paths, to make it easier for you, to help you enjoy it a little more. A lot of things people don't speak about is the joy that's in the craft, the fun part. People sometimes get too serious about it. And I have found that going on road trips and packing along some of my craft materials really make a difference. It really makes it a lot of fun. Time spent traveling is a time of renewal for yourselves, and you can find wonderment wherever you go. And there's absolutely no reason on earth why you have to leave your craft behind. If you're going on a road trip, going off for a weekend with a few like-minded witchy sisters, or hot-footing it down to some unknown destination, and you just want to feel a little more secure or protected, grab your little bag of magic on the way out the door. It doesn't require a well-honed proficiency and spell work to put together a traveling altar bag. All it requires is that you really want one. If you're a timid beginner or a contented crone like me, everything you need to manifest it is already in your heart and your mind. And after all, this is all your own magic. So you'd be packing with a purpose, packing for your own enjoyment or your own experimentations. So the first thing we need to talk about is finding your bag. Selecting a traveling pouch can be as simple or as complicated as you choose to make it. I know practitioners that just use fanny packs, knapsacks, little carpet bags, or even paper bags as we're headed out on the run. So you can craft yourself something that you might have at home, or you can go out looking for something. But if you have no flair for creating something on your own, like me, find someone to design it and make one for you. Look on eBay. Look on Etsy. There are plenty of places to look. And just remember, in your excitement to get going, that one of the most important requirements is that it should be easy to carry. I mean, I myself opted for a very small carpet bag type bag. It has just 2 clutch handles, really sturdy zippers for opening and closing it, at all hours of the day and night. And the most importantly, it is ringed with pockets. Find yourself something that is well made and will stand up to travel, being tossed in car seats, tossed on the car floors, tossed in corners, being dusted with your ash, with oil, with candle wax and dirt. Simply just find one that you will entrust to hold all of your magic working safe. One you'll have confidence in. Now, again, your ritual work can be as complex or plain and unadorned as you would like your crafting to be. When you're on the move, simplicity often takes you precedence, however. It does for me. Not that I'm lazy, it's just that I don't want to complicate things. You'd be surprised at what you can conjure with just simple things. Yet it by no means diminishes my rituals or casting by going small. Over my crone years, I have embellished my traveling altar bag with a good many things I've added over the years. I keep adding as we go, all of which are geared toward my own personal working, which is usually constitute the efforts of water and wind and weather. Now, what I have in my traveling bag, and remember, this is one that's been used for many, many years, so I do have a few more things in it than some of you might. I have a small altar cloth, really no bigger than a napkin. I have a small cauldron and stand for incense and burning spells. And when I say small, I mean small. The cauldron itself is barely the size of a 50-cent piece. So it's small and compact. I have some parchments, and I have ink and a pen. I have an offering dish for gifts or cookies. I have spoons, a little spoon to measure and stir. I have a bronze sea star for my pentagram, simply because I can. And again, it's quite small. I have a tiny pendulum board and a pendulum for advice from another voice other than my own, because sometimes I need that. A small box of bay leaves and some tiny sea stars are an easy way to send off a spell. There, you can light your light your bay leaf. Key lights, for all the obvious reasons. I'll use incense sticks or loose incense for cleansing. But the most important thing is, please try not to set off the smoke alarms in a hotel room. I did that once at Disney Studios, and they were not amused. So in you traveling, be really cognizant of where those smoke alarms are in your hotel rooms. I also have a candle scribe for inscribing on wax. And candles, I have some small twine for binding of candles or using a break spell. I have assorted salts, which I have found very helpful in my arsenal. I have different kinds of salts for specific and mundane uses. They're terrific protection also when you travel. A little something to sprinkle in front of your hotel doorways. Assorted spices and herbs. And you have to remember now, again, these are in very small vials, very small, and they all fit well. And I also have a deck of ocean oracle cards or tarot cards, depending on where I'm going and what I'm doing. And deciding what you need for your basics is totally a matter of personal preference. It's what you personally require to do meaningful and heartfelt crafting. Are you bound to a particular style of divination? Or are you delightfully eclectic, soul, and you just play out on your magic on the moment? As the moment beckons, do you go forth and just use what you have? It's always nice to have those options. And I always include a deck of cards in my bag. It's a quick way to get some advice when I'm in a quandary or just not sure how to proceed with something. I've got the pendulum and my small board, as I said, and a few shells for tossing, candles for reading the flames, or wax on water, and even a small mirror. You got to go with what you know. So again, trust yourself. Your instincts will tell you what you really ought to pack up and take with you. I like having another voice, so I do appreciate the pendulums and my cards, because sometimes when you're on vacation, your mind is a little scattered, or unless you're out there, of course, trying to get yourself settled. But things you'll tuck inside your little travel bag will become like your friends, and their advice is useful and comforting the more you use them. It's like carrying your pack of tarot cards in your bag or pocket. They become infused with your energy, and they get to know you better, and they know how to help you better. Carrying your tools around with you can be secretive or can be done with great pride, because I do have my small bag, and it's filled to the gunnels with devices for casting and comfort on my travel. But I also have a method of toting around these same things, quite oddly enough, out in the light of day in public. When I'm doing public sea witchery or giving talks at museums or libraries, as Marble mentioned, I carry my craft spread across my chest, in a specifically custom-fashioned leather baldric. Just like the pirates used to wear, exactly, where instead of guns, only this particular model is strung with little loops, and it holds vials of salt and shark's teeth and urchin spines and pearls and herbs and bronze rings for clipping larger bottles with different herbs and things attached. I've got a box for pendulums and coin clips, a compass and a pouch and candles, or whatever you yourself might require. I always walk a little bit more prouder when I'm wearing my magical rig. People love to come up and ask about it and touch it. They just find it fascinating. And truly, everything that is on that baldric is the same that I have inside my traveling altar. And you might say, well, why should I bother? Why should I bother with toting everything that I have around? And I can give you lots of enchanting reasons, but I think maybe it might be best explained if I give you an example. Now, Carmel by the Sea is the place that nurtures me. It soothes my spirit, it takes care of my soul, and it's where I find true magic around every turn. It's in the trees, it's in the shorelines, it's very persuasive up there, and it's things that you feel. Even if you can't see them, you feel it in the breeze and in the bushes and on your face, and you smell the sea air and the cypress. And it's where magic lives. And I have many longtime friends there, and like myself, many are practitioners of the old ways, and I never travel up the central coast of California with casting in mind specifically, but always take my traveling altar not only out of habit, but out of the hope for something unexpected. That's where I find a lot of my joy. My last visit was in June of 2023, long overdue, and eager to spend time with a friend of mine that I've known for over 30 years. She was a child actress and a studio manager and a seasoned witch herself. And over the course of the few days, I became aware that she was in need of finding new housing because as a caregiver, the place she was presently calling home was no longer suitable for that. She really desperately needed. So I suggested that we hold a small rite in my hotel room, just get the ball rolling for her. You know, couldn't hurt, might help. So, and to help remove any distractions or blockages out of the way that she might have, because she was quite flustered and ranked with anxiety. She wasn't feeling well. So, and we thought, we could conjure her up, get her some help. And there was my little travel altar bag sitting on the bed, waiting to be made use of, and that was exactly why I brought it. So this is where you begin to fashion your inherent magical wiles and think about what you want to pile into your traveling altar bag. Now, my larder was a bit lean, but the basics were there and at the ready for what we might require. So what we did out on my little hotel table is we put out the altar cloth, and we put out 4 tea light candles for the corners. We put a large candle to represent Hestia, whom we decided to use as she is the goddess of hearth and home. We had my starfish pentagram, absolutely. Crystals from her altar at home she'd brought, so that was done. A mix of cinnamon, coffee grounds, lavender, and sugar to hasten and sweeten the deal, much of which were garnered from the hotel freebies right there in the room. Wine and chocolate for the offering. Oh, you betcha. And that was mostly for us. The candles were lit. The quarters were called. Hestia was invited to the circle, and she came in with quite an entrance. I had never worked with Hestia before, but a new loving home that was inscribed on the Hestia candle and placed in the dish with the herbs. Supplications were made for the needed help to move forward with what was needed, requests to remain on the peninsula, which was the most important to her, and much conversation was had, speaking from the heart. And Hestia was really a presence to be reckoned with. Wine was offered and shared, and the chocolate caramel patties were devoured. And amid happy discussions, as if talking to an old friend, and then thanks were given, and the quarters were released, and the circle was closed, and Hestia lingered. We could feel that. Travel altar was set aright, packed up again, and put away with care and gratitude, set on the bed. And the next day, a real estate agent that I had talked to over the last year or so about my possibly moving up into the area. I wasn't ready to move, but he was helping to keep things, and he was asking, not knowing I was up on the peninsula, if I was ready to make any more arrangements. And I said, I'm not quite ready yet, but I explained my friend's situation, and he offered to be of help for her. And it was like he'd swooped in and suddenly materialized, and there he was. And then 2 days later, he found that someone in their retirement community had passed away, and that her son was not intending to sell the home, but rent it out instead. So they decided they would swap houses, sell the house they were in, move into the rental, freeing them up from any taxes and homeowner association fees and insurance, and thus solidify the fact that she could pay for still ongoing care for her dad and stay where they are. And I got to tell you, my travel altar just made me proud. Honestly, you just never know what's going to happen. So you can use things in your altar bag, and you can use things that are around you, like the coffee grounds and everything else. We even use the coffee filters. So with talking about candles, safety is, of course, always your first concern. There's a little that can't be trussed up into a successful candle spell, and that's why I carry small candles in my traveling altar, 3 to 5 inch tall, like small tapered pillars in assorted colors. But when in doubt, use white or black. You probably know that. But you need to know the truth about someone's intentions, looking for who the toxic influence might be in a relationship might be, want to burn the bridge for good and all, want to bind to protect your pets. Easy peasy. What you need to make sure you have is you can stock up on a flat fireproof dish or small bowl, get some beach sand or salt or dirt, if that's all available. Candles of different colors, twine. A threaded twine is good, something that will burn easily. Sea salt, you can use Himalayan pink salt. Elemental salts for earth, water, fire, and air. For basic herbs, you can gather cinnamon, lemon peel, rosemary, lavender. For specialized rites, you can gather less common herbs as directed in many grimoires. You need a parchment and a pen, and you need almond or olive oil. And this is extremely customizable spell work. It's very easy to keep these things in small vials in your traveling altar. It can be used to distance someone you're uncomfortable with, to break off a relationship. It can manifest information about someone's intentions or help you to sort out a troublemaker. Sometimes we have no idea where all that is coming from. You have to be sure about your intentions. Without that, any spell is just rudderless. Be honest with yourself, because magic will bounce back on a deceiver. You have to be honest. Work wisely and for the good. Casting is done with and from the heart, so ground yourself. Be sincere and truthful, and that unseen potential of nature will respond.
I'm going to interrupt here because we have a question, and it's a really good question, actually.
Okay.
She says, some of us have emergency kits in our cars for quakes and fire, etc. Is it able to do a car magic kit?
Oh, absolutely. But I would be very cautious about keeping candles in a car because they'll just melt. Yeah. You can. I would definitely keep. I have token stones in my car that act for safety. I have an amulet for safe travel that I use, and one that I bring in and keep on my altar during the day. And then if I'm going out on a longer trip, I kind of slip it in my pocket just to take it with me. But a car's bag, truthfully, absolutely, is not exactly a traveling altar bag because you don't want all those things in it. But anything, again, that speaks to you, any talisman. I know that malachite is a safety stone for traveling. Anything that, because you're working with air, because you got air in your tires. You got water because you got water in your radiator. You're working with fire because your engine gets really, really, really hot. So you've got, and earth because you want the car to stay grounded, all of these elements together. So you can throw a stone that is representative of all those elements in your car. And nobody else even has to know what it is. My car is full of stuff. My friends know who I am, what I do. But be as obvious or secretive as you like. Absolutely.
Sounds interesting, though, Or even a glove compartment. If some people have a lot of junk in their glove compartments, but you can make a little altar in there if you need be, right?
I have to admit that one time, stuck in a traffic jam, I pulled down my glove box and used the door as a small altar to try to get things moving.
See?
And we worked on a wind spell. We did a real brief wind spell and blew salt out the windows to get things moving. And actually it did right soon after that. Things got moving. You just have to go with what you know, or go with your heart at the time. Be creative. I know you can all be creative. No, nothing is written in stone. You don't have to go by, what somebody tells you is incorrect or right. You have to find your own magic. And if blowing salt out the window on a stopped freeway helps, it gets picked up by the wind and moved on down the freeway to clear your path, I think that's worth a couple of minutes of your time.
Sounds good. Somebody else I had a note from somebody today. They were talking about taking a bag on an airplane with all the different stuff you have in there. I mean, can you? I mean, depending on what you're doing, but there's so many rules now and regulations.
This is on a carry-on?
Well, when you come through the gate, I mean, you have to show stuff. Go through the.
Well, mostly it's liquids that they're worried about. Everything in my travel altar is quite small and in glass vials, see-through glass vials, so they're easily seen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have much in there that would. They might question the salts or something, but all they'd have to do is open it and taste it if they wanted to. Most everything can be replaced where I'm going as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going on a trip on a plane, now your small little cauldron, mine is metal, that might set things off. You couldn't have matches, you couldn't have anything like. So I think you would have to tailor your altar to travel on a plane and then restock at your destination for things that might set off bells.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody's going to worry about, taking, if you have an ordinary pentagram for your altar or small god or goddess statues, I don't think anybody's going to have any issues with those. You just have to be smart about it. You have to know where you're going and what they might be looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know, if I wear a pentagram, well, I do wear a pentagram, but some people, if it comes out of my blouse, people see it and they back away sometimes, and that happens too. So, yeah, you have to be careful with things like that, because then they'll think that you're a Satanist or something.
Oh, dear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They go, and then they make the sign of the cross at you, and then, then you're good.
See, and that's why one of the reasons that I use a starfish for my pentagram. I can wear starfish rings. I can wear starfish necklaces or cuff bracelets, and nobody else is any the wiser. But I know.
I know too.
The universe knows what it is. My friends know what it is.
Yeah, and that's good. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I just said that it's a good thing, to do. You can hide pentagrams in various different things, and
I have regular pentagrams that I wear as well. But for every day, that's just over the years, and I've had many years. That's the jewelry I've gathered, because that's what touches me. That's what speaks to me, is the pentagram shape of the starfish.
Mm-hmm. And being a sea witch.
And being a sea witch and working with all those elements and everything, I can, take off the ring or the bracelet and make an indentation in the sand, and when I'm doing work. And it's just, I find them very pleasing and very soothing.
Mm-hmm.
That and all my octopus stuff.
Yes.
I, for one, welcome our 8-armed overlords. I think they're just dandy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that works really well. And you're really easy to buy things for, too. Tons of octopuses. No, octopi.
Octopi.
Octopi, yeah. Mm-hmm. And on that octopi note, we're going to take a 2-minute break. So everybody, you can sit still, and we'll be back in about 2 minutes.
There's more Stirring the Cauldron with Marla Brooks right after these important messages.
If you're looking for a truly unique podcast experience, we have you covered. Spirit by You with CJ Dunham airs live from the Third Coast in Southeast Texas on Tuesday and Fridays at midnight Eastern Time, covering Creole folklore and folk magic to strange paranormal activity to new equipment for the field. CJ Dunham is a Catholic swamp witch, a devotee to our Mother Mary and the Trinity, a true believer in our Lord, the Holy Ghost, and Christ. Peace be with your spirit, and the spirits by you.
Hi, it's Tori DeVito. In every family, small conversations can make a big impact. Like when my dad shared his experiences as an alcoholic.
Your honesty about that part of your life gave me a sense of integrity that I wanted to uphold in my own life.
I wanted you to know from someone who's been in recovery more than 30 years now that hard work is what creates success, not alcohol or other drugs. I said it a lot, and I'm glad you took it to heart.
Talk, they hear you. For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Missed an episode of Stirring the Cauldron? Then be sure to check out marlabrooks.com and check out the archive. And while you're there, check out Marla's weekly Witches Oracle card reading. Explore the site to find many great resources, such as information on tarot, oracle readings, metaphysical consultations, and links to all of Marla's books. That's marlabrooks.com. Welcome back to Stirring the Cauldron. Once again, here's your host, Marla Brooks.
All right, tonight's teacher is Sam Miller, and we're talking about packing your potions and creating your travel bags for magic on the go. And I'm going to step back and let you, Sam, keep on going.
Why, thank you. Class is back in session. Again, if you have any questions, please just let Marla know in the chat room. I'll do my best to answer whatever I can about that. Back to our little traveling bags. Ordinarily, because when I'm on a trip, I will try to keep my spell work or my crafting simple, because the ingredients that I have are simple, and plus, since I'm on vacation, I'm not geared up to do a massive undertaking of some kind. So something that's important when you're traveling is you might want a bit of protection for yourself in new places, or if you're traveling alone or with a friend. So if you want a little bit of protection, you can, from your little altar bag, you can pour a circle of white salt in a small dish in your room, and in the center, place a sigil or a little bit of sage right in the center of it. And then on a whole bay leaf, write, "I am protected," or "My friend is protected," or "This hotel is protected," or "My travels are protected." Whoever or whatever it is you're looking out for. Now, dress a black candle in an oil of your choosing, and roll it along the bay leaf until the candle's wrapped up in it. Secure it with a little small piece of twine. Wrap it around if you have to, and use the flame to soften the bottom of the candle and secure it right in the center of the bowl or the plate, or whatever you're using. And then circle the candle with stick incense or any incense that you have, or smudge one, and light the candle and watch it, let it burn until it's extinguished out. And that, I find, throws up a really good protective aura around you without having to smudge and set off the smoke alarms in the hotel, which, again, is not what you want to do. And one thing more I want to say is that traveling altars are empowering. They're enticing, and they're physical reminders of who we are. Having the accoutrements of our craft at hand, when we're out of our home, it's joyful and it's even fun. However, I would like to tell you that, remind you that everything you need to manifest Intent is already with you. All that's required is your intent, your heart, your hands. Magic is the embodiment of your individuality. It's your substance. It's your conscience. It's your essence. Working with all of nature supplies you and gives focus and added power to the things that you would beckon and entice into your life. Yet the preeminent power of all of this is simply within you. You. So you can gather your stores and your traveling bags and be wistful in your wanderings, and you work at the craft to be of help to others. Because what you do with your craft is where the sincerity comes in. And it's where, you would make me the most proud. It's working with these little bags, these little altar bags, is about reaching out to others and helping others as well. Not just about, self-service, which, can be kind of messy at a time. But the feel, go ahead.
I was going to, you have a question, but finish your comment.
Oh, I was going to say, you'll come to feel very attached to whatever you choose to use as your traveling altar. You will find it a friend. You'll find it comforting. I leave mine sitting out in full view. And even when I'm not using it, I'll go over and check on it once in a while, check the stores, see what you need. Again, I recommend small glass vials, which you can get for pennies online with cork stoppers, so you can see how much is there, see how much you've used, and you will become attached. I can tell you, I'll warn you about that right now. You become quite attached to your little traveling bags. What is it, Marla?
I'm just looking at the little traveling bag you made for me, but that's not what I was talking about. No, there's a question from the chat room. She said, since you're part of the Paranormal Disney team, are there any hints for what investigators should carry for cases?
Actually out into Disneyland?
Wherever, in general, I guess.
Well,
yeah.
I've known it's with security the way it is now, it's a little hard for someone who considers themselves an active investigator to get electronic doodads into the park, like EVP stuff and the, I don't even know all the things they use. Mostly, I would check lists of the supposedly more haunted spots in the park and go with intuition. Now, if you're looking to go take you can take a pendulum because you can do that. That's especially effective if you go onto the Columbia sailing ship and you can go down into the bunker area right down below the ship there, because there have been hauntings there. They keep opening those back windows, which is very problematic. But any place you can sit and use a pendulum. Usually people don't bother you with that. They may look at you odd, but I have used a pendulum in the park. Corny as it may sound, the outside of the Haunted Mansion has a lot of activity, but that's all closed off right now due to construction. So we don't know how that'll affect things after construction is over. A lot of times spirits will move on when things change from the original, so we don't know.
In general, too, though, should investigators carry a certain kind of case, like you have the carpet bag, just for if they're out on any kind of investigations, just kind of have a backpack or something that they can grab and on the go also?
Well, if they understand the craft, I don't see any harm in taking protective elements. You are your own best protection. I have a ring that I've had for almost 60 years, and I've had to have it, changed over the years to wear, but it's a protection. You have to go take what you feel is protective. Take salt in your pockets. Take a small bag that you have. You can take holy water. You can take black salt, sea salt, Himalayan pink salt to sweeten, and soft sugar to sweeten a moment. With our experiences, it's been that music has been very soothing to a lot of spirit. Humming, singing soft songs seem to raise energy in a calm way. So if you want to create a small pouch for ghost investigating, I suppose you could. I'd never really thought about it. You could include anything electrical that you had, or battery operated, to put in that. But protective wise, I would go with salt. I know some folks that didn't want a ghost following them left a small trail of salt behind them all the way to their car. Because they were a little concerned. Yeah, all the way to their car. And they didn't have any trouble when they got home. But again, that's your intent. It's what you feel comfortable with, what you know. If salt works for you as a protection, by all means, use it for everything. Your experiences will tell you what you should work, because something that works for me might not work for someone else, because that's your magic. That's your feeling. That's your experiences. And that's how nature is relating to you. You know, the sand and the sea empower me where it will not help others. So it's what you've worked with. It's what you know.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Well, yeah, and I think people, when they go out on investigations, they have a lot of stuff with them, but, sometimes people have so many gizmos and gadgets, and, you need a backpack to carry them in. But then there's a lot of people that don't use all those things. They use themselves, in a sense.
Well, yeah, that's me. Yeah. I don't use those things. I was living by Forest Lawn my whole entire life. And I have to tell you, I have graveyard dirt in my traveling altar bag. And I have crystals that I have buried under redwood trees up there for a year and a day and dug up and then put back into my my traveling bag for purposes. I'm considering now, though, I would be a little concerned about putting magical salt in a backpack or a pouch with my ghost hunting equipment, because that's electric, it's battery operated, and I really don't think I'd want to put those two things together. I think there could be a conflict of interest. That, but that's me, because I don't use them. I've seen the dead since I was a child, and what I see isn't the same as what other people see or feel. So you have to, again, you have to go with what you know. And I've let that guide me over the years. I've never felt threatened up there, and I was unaware that everybody didn't see what I was seeing when I was a child. I thought everybody saw what I saw. It was confusing until the teachers called my mother and told her they thought perhaps I needed help.
Oh,
I was in kindergarten. And then my mother explained to me at home, now, we don't talk about that at school. But it's nice if somebody had mentioned that before I went.
Yeah, then they wouldn't have thought you might have been a little cuckoo. But
well, my parents didn't think I was. My parents knew better.
No, I know. Yeah.
So you stopped talking about it. But anyway, packing these things to take with you is very empowering. And it makes you feel safe. It's what you're comfortable with. I don't throw it in the car when I'm running out to lunch with friends. This is mostly for road trips and vacations, or when I'm going to be out of the house for a couple of days. I leave something here to protect the cats and the possums and the skunks, and then I throw that in the car for me to use if I need to. And I've been on trips where I haven't even cracked it open, but it was there if I needed it. And sometimes I change the things that are in it. You'll find that while you have some basics, depending on where you're going or what your needs might be, you'll sort stuff out, and you might change out, something that you've got in there, and say, oh, maybe I better take some elderberry. So you'll fill up one of your little vials with elderberries, or stuff like that. Like I said, I have sea urchin spines and things like that because I beckon to the wind and water when I work. Cloves are always a good thing to take in your altar because those are multi-purpose. Not only can they make your room smell nice if it comes down to that, but if you're working with water magic, you would, if you have a question, or if you're even looking to ask the ocean to help protect you if you're going sailing, if you've got cloves in your traveling altar, you take an apple and put a rune for protection on the apple using the cloves. So you've got that there. And then you watch the waves. Ordinarily, the 9th wave is the highest. And when that wave comes up and they start down being low again, you throw that app, you give it your intent. You say, you protect me on my voyage, protect me while I'm on this trip, protect me while I'm here, or whatever you need protected. And on that lowest wave, after the 9th, you throw it as far as you can possibly throw it out into the ocean. And then you wait for the 9 waves. If it comes back to you, you're not going to get any help. That's kind of like a big no. But if the apple stays out, it means the ocean has accepted it and that you will be watched over, or at least aided to find your way safely back or safely through your travels. That's an option. Yeah, that's an oldie but a goodie. So cloves are another thing to have inside. Multi-purpose. Did you have something to say?
No, I was just trying to think of...
Oh, you were just breathing. Okay.
Well, yeah, I do that once in a while, but but no, I was just, as you're talking, I'm thinking, what would I put in it? I mean, again, you gave me a starter kit, so I'm good, but, what else? It just got me thinking, so I'll be quiet and think, and you keep going on.
Well, it depends on your elements. You can craft your bags according to the elements that you work with. If you use tarot cards in a lot of your spell work, and I know a lot of people do, you can work off of the tarot cards. I have a friend who crafted her traveling altar using her cards, and she found small items on pictures of the cards, and she found those for her little traveling bag. She found like a small red stone for one. For her tower card, she found a little jacket patch with a lightning bolt on it. And she put that in there. You can use anything that speaks to you, that empowers you. You can use cloth patches. You can take a needle and threads. You can take, quilting squares. You can take picture frames to put sand or pictures of or something out of a magazine or a postcard from where you are, and then to keep something safe or put a small candle. Depends on what you need or what you're working for. Mostly I find people use them for protection while they're walking around and going on their trips. I just happened to have a friend who needed a new home spell when I was there the last time. So everything in the bag came out to use. And I was happy I had it all, but it was still very simple. Find a small altar cloth that speaks to you. Different herbs, of course. You can have jazz. If you want to make sure that your trip is a sweet one, then put jasmine flowers or elderflowers in a vial in your bag. Pack specifically for a specific trip. Now, mine rarely changes. I don't usually have to repack, but I would say experiment until you find what touches your power. I would experiment until I found what was the most comfortable, what I found feel, because eventually you're going to go on a trip with a bag and you're just going to feel so good and you're going to go, oh, this must be it. This must be what I'm looking for. You can have small stones. You can take hag stones, anything that you might know, and gathering things on your trips I find to be very helpful as well. I've picked up rocks and bones and small twigs. I have more stuff now than I can even get in my bag, so I have to be selective. But it's crafting it for yourself. And like I said, there's no reason you have to leave your craft at home. It can be as subtle or flamboyant as you'd like it to be. However you're the most comfortable, because it's there for you. It's there to serve you, help you, and to be a part of your magic. It's there to empower you. And you'll be surprised how, as you get more acquainted with it and more comfortable with it, how much it will empower you and keep you safe.
Got another question when you're through.
Okay, go ahead. I'm in for a question.
Okay. They want to know, do they need to consecrate the bag when you first get it? And should you keep, putting your energy into the bag, or every time you pick it up, you just kind of do a little bit more consecration, or what?
Well, I would consecrate the bag when you first get it. However it is you're the most comfortable doing that. You can sprinkle it with water. You can do it with incense or smudge it. You can lay it out in the full moon. I consecrate all of the utensils and hard working bits that I have in there, like my planchette, like my pendulum and board and mortar and pestle. I have a small olive wood mortar and pestle as well in there. And I do have consecrated all of those. But every time you add a new herb, if you have already consecrated it in its original packaging or in your jars or in your larder, wherever you have things stored, then you don't need to reconsecrate it for that. But I always ask it to be happy in its new location and to serve as needed. I don't always say to serve me. I say to serve as needed. Be a part of me. Be a part of my working. And I thank it for being in there because of the vibes on all of those things. I think they need to be thanked once in a while. They do an awful lot of work for me. So I'm not above being, I'm not so proud that I don't thank you for helping me through this. Consecrating, again, a lot of that is personal choice and personal method, however you choose. And it depends, too, again, on what you choose your bag to be. If it's cloth, you probably don't want to get it wet, but smoke is nice. Once in a while, I will re-incense my bag just because it gets into the cloth and it smells really nice. So you've got your little traveling bag that's got just a little bit of whiff of water incense, and it just smells really rich and comforting and familiar. Because familiar can be important as well. Sometimes people are unsure when they're working with someone else's things or new things. They haven't quite got the feel of them yet. And the more familiar you become with your bag and what it holds, the more power and more comfortable you'll be. You've got mine is ringed with little pockets, and they're just full of spoons and shell spoons, of course. And like I said, those little vials, I can be happy to send anyone photos of the things that I have and how to perhaps, make your bags up. I can send you information on that. I'm sorry I'm not able to pass out my handouts for my poor class. I'm very sorry.
Oh.
Can't pass those out. But again, if you want to get in touch with me on Instagram, I would be happy. Just DM me on Instagram at iron_Beth. And I'll be happy to send you pictures of the vials, the inside of the bag, just to give you some ideas of size. Mine is considered, I think, kind of a small traveling altar, but I've seen them as small as a mint tin.
What?
You know, like a sewing kit. I've seen them as small as that. They open the kit lid, the mint tin lid, and it's got sand in the bottom, and they've got drawn a pentagram on the lid, and maybe there's a candle in there and a couple of matches and few little packets of salt, and they go to town with that. It's as simple or as complicated as you want to make it. I mean, mine's more complicated now because I'm old. I mean, I've been doing this like 70 years, so I've got a lot of crap. I do, and I admit it. And I'm very happy to share photos if anyone really wants to see them.
Yeah, and also people can ask a question that, because a lot of people are going to listen to the podcast that weren't here.
Of course.
You're there to help.
Yeah, I'm easy. I'll answer questions after this is over. It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
We're about ready to kind of sign off, but
pencils down, class.
Yeah. Well, they didn't need the pencil. Wait a minute.
No.
Okay. So somebody just said, love the idea of the traveling bag. When I travel, I take some of my mystical stuff with me. Never thought to make a bag like that. So that's a great idea.
Well, thank you. I can't take credit for it, I don't think. Although I never saw another one before mine. I just got tired of trying to put all my little things, because I do like to work up in Carmel. I like to craft in Carmel. Just out on the beach quietly. And then I thought, they need their own individual space. They need their own little traveling compartment. And that's when I started to put together my little traveling altar bag. And I thought maybe some of you might be able to use that too. It can be really fun. You've got to realize that the craft can be fun as well as serious, and like some people try to make it that it's heavy and very, very strict. No, it can be if that's where you find your power. You can also have an awful lot of fun with it.
Yes.
You can enjoy it. You can enjoy it and find yourself a really wonderful bag.
There you go.
It's out there looking for you now. Your bag's probably already out there looking for you now.
Yeah, I agree. It would. Tomorrow when you go into some shop, you'll see. Yeah, that's
Who wants
true.
to go home with me? Oh, I do. Some little bag sitting there. Me.
Well, it's time for us to travel out of here. So the Instagram is at
Iron.
Mm-hmm.
It's at iron_Bess.
BESS.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Iron Bess.
There you go. Well, I want you to thank you for sharing your wisdom with us, and we'll do it again sometime. I mean, you're always welcome to teach something because you're good at it, and down the line. And I want to thank everybody who are listening in. And until next time, everybody, blessed be and merry meet again. Good night.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of Stirring the Cauldrons Masterclass. Please join us at the same time for another great class and more cauldron stirring. Any rebroadcast or other use of this program without explicit permission is strictly prohibited. Copyright 2024. The Holiday Weasel by Kevin MacLeod is licensed through Incompetech.